As you may remember, a couple months ago, I made like a fake out video, talking about my top 10 favorite death battles that I created. Death battle ideas specifically, not death battle as in no. But today, I'm finally going over my top 10 favorite death battles themselves. But first, we have 4 honorable mentions I want to go over. First, starting off with Zuko vs. Todoroki. I honestly love this episode, but I have some problems. The animation isn't the best for sprite battles, and the story does seem out of character for present day Todoroki. The rest of it, though, honestly isn't bad. You've heard me reference Nemesis Blood Arch before, but I really don't see what he has against. But I have to disagree with him on his opinion for this episode. Oh, he called it boring and stupid, but I honestly was entertained throughout the entire fight. Of course, not everyone's going to agree, I get that, it's fine to disagree. I'm just giving my opinion, okay? Anyways, I'm gonna move on because I don't have much to say about the honorable mentions, because the honorable, freaking Christ. I hate my speech impediment. Anyways, moving on to Smokey Bear versus McGruff the Crime Dog. I've seen a lot of people saying this episode either stinks or is just a fuck you to McGruff. But I kinda like it. Like, they gave credit where credit was due for McGruff in saying that his speed was superior, plus he was, there's a couple other things that I can't remember. I actually was just rewatching this episode earlier, but yeah, this is one of the better actual hand-drawn fights. Not the best, as the best is on the list, but well, yeah, I have that. Never mind. But yeah, I feel like while the fight did feel short, it was a Smokey vs. McGruff really is a bad episode, and people really should give it a chance. Mm. Blake versus Mikasa. Yeah, a lot of you probably have seen my video about why this matchup was a horrible one. I was probably surprised to see it yet, but I've grown this match. The death battle itself grew on me, admittedly. The analysis wasn't anything special, but it was the fight that got me. Yeah. Like, it started off with a reasonable reason. It started off with the start to the fight was something I could believe happening, because they're trying to get Blake out of the area that Titans are attacking in, and then just and doing something to a book or something Blake was reading. I do have to say, some of what they said was misleading or possibly spoiling Ruby, in which case, yeah. And I'm talking about the Infinish theme where Boomstick Hicks talks about how Blake X Yang. Like, I don't have anything against the ship. I'm gonna say this now. I'm not homophobic or anything. I just, it's not canon, and I feel like them talking about it was canon and saying that, oh, this is the best ship in the world. And no, that wasn't the direct words, but it's just something I have to say I have a problem with. Along with Mikasa knowing about the clones, that scene is something that legit triggered me during the fight, where she talked about clones. How she uses clones to divert her moves. How Mikasa lives in a world where superpower is really only limited to knowing about time transformation. How does that translate to knowing about clones? And if you're an Attack on Titan fan, please explain that part, because yeah. And if you're a Ruby fan and that ship Blake and Yang, don't hate me for saying that. I really don't don't understand that scene. I don't hate it. but I also don't love the ship, and I'm gonna stop talking about it. This is probably the only time I'll ever ramble about it. I'll ever ramble on about an honorable mention, because I could honestly go on forever about the stuff this episode did right and wrong. Anyways, I'm gonna move on, so I could make an entire video about it, but not right now. To end off on honorable mentions is the Winter Soldier versus Red Hood. I'm gonna admit I was kind of hasty to put in honorable mentions and not the top 10, but as you can imagine, the top 10 are episodes I like even better. But the analysis, like Nemesis, is what I just said before on his video about last season, this episode, its fight is what saves it. Because the analysis is nothing great. It's, and of course, was the post analysis afterwards wasn't great. But the fight itself was awesome. And that's really all I have to say. So, on to the top 10. And to start things, yeah, to start things off, we have Garo versus Machamp. Yeah. Yeah, I want to say that this episode may get hate from Mortal Kombat fans. I want to say I'm a Mortal Kombat fan, and I understand, and that they probably left some stuff out for Goro, but this fight just was awesome. Awesome. The seismic toss was great. Seismic toss got its own scene and shine. I kind of wish that it had been incorporated into the death in some way, since it's Machamp's signature move according to Death Battle. But seeing it alone was cool. And in the version they used, I would have liked to have the Machamp toss go into the stratosphere, and then that leads into the death where Machamp just starts spam out when goal is about to land. Machamp does the punch spamming, finishing stuff off, and that's how it ends. Except a much gorier kill. So yeah, anyways, the fight was great. It should have, I do want to say, didn't capitalize enough on the forearm fighting. Like, Goro was using all four of his arms, Machamp was using all four of his arms, but they weren't using their unique four-armed fighting styles enough. If it was mostly just Machamp using his moves and techniques, and Goro just using whatever he had at his disposal. Mm. Still though, not complaining. Good episode. Old solid. I'll give it 7 out of 10. And Crash versus Spyro. This matchup was admittedly meant to be a stomp matchup. I know that. Because while Crash held some advantages, most of them went to Spyro. Oh, Crash and Spyro are kinda even on the freaking endurance, I know, but most of Spyro's attacks was way stronger than anything Crash had. So yeah, I want to point that out. But I don't have a problem with this being a stomp. It gave Spyro spotlight and didn't rob either from a better opponent. It's not their best opponents, but it didn't rob either from a good opponent, because they're both pretty good opponents, and the reasoning's there. And yeah, I'm gonna move on now. I really don't. I'll make this an hour-long video. Star versus Steven. Or Steven versus Star. Yeah, whatever. Not a lot to say that I didn't already say in the in the video for me reviewing it. I want to say that the fight, for those of you who haven't seen it, I'm gonna say the fight was phenomenal. It capitalized on both. Star being a complete idiot throughout it, and Steven being trying to adapt to it, was a great scene. The transformations were awesome, some especially Steven's. The death may have been out of character for Star, but I don't care. Yeah, those of you who say it matters, because personality matters for when you have a pacifist going up against one of the most friendly characters in in their universe, in the universe they're from. Um, yeah, you can't say that these two fighting would be unlikely alone. So it makes sense that at a death that the kill would be out of character. Moving on, Dracula versus Ganondorf. Wait, one second. Does that add up? Hold on, I'm trying to check some stuff. One, two, three, four. So this okay, just wanted to make. I got confused there for a second because I kind of lost count. Also, I did not sync this up. I am using Google Slides. I'm gonna say that because honestly, using the gallery and stuff would be difficult when you can't line it up perfectly. I want to say this is a new phone, so if my voice is sounding better through the new microphone, then yeah, don't be surprised. Anyways, Ganondorf vs. Dracula is a really good episode. Well, Ganondorf, while it was Ganondorf's second appearance, and it did give Ganon a bit more justice than Bowser versus Ganon, in which case they kind of misrepresented the character in some ways, and of course was misrepresented Bowser in all the ways. He's They present him as I'm not gonna talk about Bowser versus Ganon right now. That's going to probably, if I do it, will be on as an honorable mention and freaking the top 10 worst death battles. Because I have quite a few that I really hate. Not gonna lie. Anyways, um, yeah, I'm gonna say that. Oh, um, I'm gonna because I gave a rating for freaking Garo versus Machamp as 7 out of 10. Um, 7 out of 10 and mid tier. 7 out of 10 high tier. 8 out of 10 and here low tier. I'm kind of stealing stuff from Nemesis. Don't hate me. I kind of get inspired by people. Not gonna lie. It's a bad habit that I've had my whole life. But anyways, not much to talk about. The fight was cool. How Dracula fucked with Ganondorf the entire time was fun, and that's about all I really have to say. It represented both characters perfectly, and yeah, 8 out of 10. This is yeah, Poe versus Iron Fist. This is a mid-tier 8 out of 10, not gonna lie, and for a good reason. While it was Poe's first appearance on Death Battle, and well, not my favorite opponent for Poe, it was a lot of people's favorite opponents for Poe, and I'm gonna say Death Battle at least didn't fuck it up. Poe vs. Iron Fist was one of the best episodes of Death Battle yet. If you can't tell by the fact that I put this at number 5, um yeah, Poe vs. Iron Fist was one of the best pixelated animated fights. I really enjoyed the fun how it started, plus throughout it. The analysis was fun. I love the part where Boomstick commented on how Poe had a good happy ending with that. Um, and yeah, everything in general, and the fight was awesome. Only thing I really don't like that drags it from being higher up is the matchup itself, in which case they only are martial artists. they really have nothing else in common except for, well, also they found inner peace, but that's about it. And dead mother doesn't count as connection. No, dead mothers do not count as connection. But other than that, which drags it down 2 points, points, it really is a spectacular episode. I loved how they did it. Plus, admittedly, the voice for Poe kind of did feel like it was Jack Black. Anyways, Saberwolf versus John Tauben. Wait, wait, did I get wrong? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Should this be? Hold on. Did I get something wrong? Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh wait, bonus interest would be 6 then, because I admittedly still have 4 after this one, so, hold on, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, yeah, I messed up counting there and got confused, sorry guys. Saberwolf vs. John Talbane was an epic episode. Like, sure, some people call it boring or too gory. I enjoyed it because it used both the characters' abilities to the freaking extreme. Both were freaking battling, duking it out like there was no tomorrow, and their moveset clashed so well. The death was awesome and brutal, and honestly, overall, just fantastic. Fantastic. 9 out of 10 low tier. Yep. Next one's also low, in between low tier and mid tier, 9 out of 10, and that's Deadpool vs. Deathstroke. Some people don't like this episode. I despise people who don't like this episode because it was awesome. Like, the people who don't like it really just make crap bullshit. Wait, why did I say, ugh, freaking Christ. I'm really tired. Ugh. I'd usually record it later than this too. Reason why I hate them is because Death Battle actually really made this a fun episode. Deadpool, Deadpool had some of the best lines ever in Death Battle history. Deathstroke was freaking awesome throughout it. Not even talking that much, which is fitting for the character. Also, I love the bits where there were sword fights. Nice how they got to use a variety of different weapons like they would. Deadpool being fucking Deadpool. Well, I love the episodes with Deadpool, except for the Deadpool versus the Mask. Because it's just them finding an excuse to kill Deadpool. Honestly, I just hate Deadpool versus the Mask because it was just them finding an excuse to kill Deadpool. And that, like, I just don't like that they would intentionally slaughter a character. Same with Mewtwo vs. Shadow. That episode can go to fucking hell. Especially their reasoning. They didn't even give good reasoning to it. Anyways, yeah, my favorite scene in the death battle was death in this one. I'm gonna say this now because a lot of people probably laughed after at least got a chuckle from this one. From this scene where Deadpool will legit just teleports around insulting Deathstroke. It was a good episode in general, and I'm not gonna change my mind no matter what any of you say. Next we have Dante vs. Bayonetta. This one was talked about in an episode of Why We Hate Death Battle from another YouTuber guy who deleted my comment, and in which case I explained to him why all his reasonings why I do hate Death Battle were fucking wrong. For example, the guy, I want to just point this out now before moving on. The guy said that Death Battle shouldn't be advertising stuff. He acts like Death Battle can and make everything they do, all the epic fights that they try to make, and all the ideas they get, plus pay everyone equally, without advertisers. They can't, they need the money to make the animations for everyone. The guy I also called directly insulted this one by saying that by his only words being they said Dante would beat Bayonetta. Do you really need any more excuse to hate them? And this one I want to point out, was complete bullshit. Like, I want to say, oh crap, I want to point out that Dante vs. Bayonetta actually had a good conclusion. It was right, had good reasoning, and overall had nothing wrong with the conclusion. The guy in his debunking video that I watched said that Bayonetta did this and this and this, all of which it had tried to put false scaling behind. I'm not gonna go into detail on this guy or what his was, but I just want to say fuck you to the guy, because he just freaking is a Bayonetta biased fanboy who's a horny son of a bitch. Anyways, Dante vs. Bayonetta is awesome. They get, the start of the fight made so much sense. The analysis made me laugh several times. Plus them talking about the sheer amount of power Dante and Bayonetta both wielded. I want to say that freaking Dante return, if Dante does return, and if they ever do a rematch for this, I want to say, people shut up about it. I don't want them to do a rematch where they appeal to people's beliefs like they did. Like, they've done, I'm pretty sure they did that once before, or when Mario vs. Sonic. I don't have anything against that episode, I love it, but I feel like that's what happened with the 100th episode, where they tried to appeal with popular opinion, and I just don't like seeing that from Death Battle. Unless the first time around it truly was wrong, don't tell them to redo it. But anyways, the fight was awesome. I loved the cameo of Trish and Bayonetta's friend. I didn't like the DBX between the two, because I felt like it was just as boomstick picking which one was hotter. Because back then DBX didn't get voted for. And yeah, everything about this episode is great. 8, 8, 8. 10 out of 10. Low tier. Yeah, 10 out of 10. And I don't care what any of you say, the last three are all 10 out of 10 episodes for me. Next, Geese vs. Heihachi. The episode that you should have expected had you seen any of my videos before. Heihachi vs. Geese was one of my favorite episodes is my favorite episode from this entire season, and just blew me away with how good it was. There were scenes that legit made me laugh my ass off. There were moments in the fight where I just got excited for what would happen next. There was almost nothing wrong, except for perhaps like the joke there was one part that made it not work for the episode, and that was the scene where Boomstick said that it was a no duh situation. I didn't laugh at that one. It kind of kept it from being high tier 10 out of 10, and and actually, you know what? Fuck that scene. It's high tier 10 out of 10 because I'm breaking the rules of 10 out of 10 with BOS vs. Galaxia being 11 out of 10. Yep, 11 out of 10. Because why the fuck not? Anyways, BOS vs. Galaxia is my favorite episode of all time because it's just one of the best. The fight was well choreographed and had really cool moments, and BOS was funny. Galaxia and him had some really freaking funny, funny banter. And throughout it, they didn't. It wasn't like a death battle where the two characters talk to themselves sometimes and then go after each other. Like there's there's death battles that do that. I just can't name any off the top of my head. And the fight, it had really cool moments. Now, this isn't popular opinion, I know this. Some of these episodes are widely hated. Some of them are widely despised. But this is all my opinion. Don't hate me for it. And yeah, um please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And of course, like always, I'll catch I'll catch you on the flip side.